Good afternoon, everyone. We shall now be starting with our inaugural session, Learning Higher Education Knowledge Exchange Program. This is a two-day residential event which has been convened with the aim of building a knowledge society, which accelerating the growth of quality higher education in India. I would request the dignitaries who are present with us for the inaugural to please join me on stage. Shri Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary IT, Government of Maharashtra. Shri Bhaskar Ji Nayak, Director Higher Education, Government of Goa. Mr. VSN Raju, CEO, Globrina Technologies Private Limited. Professor P. Rameshan, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak. And Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO, ELETS Technomedia Private Limited. And Mr. VSN Raju, CEO, Globrina Technologies Private Limited. I would ask Dr. Ravi Gupta to please give away the bouquets to all the participants with us at the inaugural. To Shri Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary IT, Government of Maharashtra. To Shri Bhaskar Ji Nayak, Director Higher Education, Government of Goa. And to Professor P. Rameshan, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak. I would now request Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO, ELETS Technomedia Private Limited, to please address and give the welcome address.
First of all, welcome to Goa. So, Goa is an interesting word to have in Hindi and English. It's go and a, which is go and come. A is come. So, with that note, it's a honor and a pleasure to have you all here. And as we are all aware that we have all arrived from various airports by various connecting flights. So many of the speakers and attendees are still at various airports across India. So some are still just arriving at the airport and like starting now. So we will have a staggered increase in the attendance, and those who are already here, I give a heartily welcome. Thanks for making it here. Goa is famous for relaxation, but here we are here for business and some networking and also some relaxation. So before we get into the bigger issues of higher education, let me just give a background of the ELETS as an organization which is hosting this event. So a small PPT is here. ELETS is an organization which has roots started in 1997, which started as an organization called CSDMS, Center for Science Development and Media Studies, and we started with the objective of promoting ICT in various areas of development, which included education, governance and health mainly to start with. And today our overall objective as ELETS is we publish magazines in online and print on a monthly basis on governance, education and health. We organize events and workshops around these areas. We do consulting and research. We do knowledge management, and we run various portals around these areas. So the most important our initiatives in the space is our magazine called Digital Learning, and it is started in 2005, and it is almost Asia's first magazine on ICT in edu sector. And we have a magazine on IT and government. It's called eGov, and we have a magazine called eHealth, which is IT in health. And we all these magazines engage with our stakeholders through our portals online, which have huge readership inside India and outside India. And our flagship events have been eIndia, eAsia, Education, World Education Summit, eWorld, Secure IT, Smart City, Healthcare Forums, and many others. These are our upcoming workshops and events. And some of our past history, like we have organized eAsia in 2006 in Bangkok, eAsia in Putrajaya in KL in 2007, when we did 2008 again in Malaysia. Then we organized eAsia 2009 in Colombo, with the president like inaugurating and hosting the event, the president of Sri Lanka. And we had eAsia in Dhaka in like 2011, with the Prime Minister releasing a stamp on eAsia event itself, which was a huge honor for us. And eIndia is again a parallel activity we have been like doing since 2005. And over the years, it has become a important event all around India. And our another initiative, it's called World Education Summit. The Honorable past President, Dr. APJ Kalam inaugurated it and started this series of events, and our Honorable Minister of Education, who has been into it. And here, the aim of this event, which is a small focused event of having focused discussions around higher education. And the agenda is to have a small selected speakers and like delegates, and having extensive and deep discussions around various themes related to higher education. We are looking at skills issue of skill development, the role of research in higher education, the how to increase the GER in the higher education area, bringing inclusiveness in the higher education area, having the like a discussion around industry and academia interface, and the importance of ICTs. And expected outcomes of this like focused interaction are that we discuss about the whole opportunities, the issues which are hurting the issues sector, and how is like ICT able to help in like increasing the base of the higher education and increasing the effectiveness of the outcomes. So I would mention that the important our sponsors, who are Ministry of HRD, NIXI, Globe Arena, Adobe, Armstrong, Cyber Fort, Dragonfly, and TRS, and Microsoft, and our online education partner has been VijIQ. And so this is the background of this event, and I wish you an enjoyable stay and fruitful deliberation and networking at Goa. Thank you so much.
I would now request Sri Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary IT, Government of Maharashtra, to give the keynote address.
Yeah, good day, friends. Ravi and I are doing sometimes opposite of what both of us should be doing together. Since 10-12 years, Ravi has been doing very wonderful, very positive stories on e-governance. Though from the media friends, you would sometimes feel that they will bring both aspects, positive, negative, successful projects, failed projects. On the other hand, normally you expect bureaucrats to talk about only success stories. But you will find me very often talking of many failed projects or where we are making mistakes. So about 2 years ago, I wrote a paper called e-governance 0.0. In one conference, I got so sick of listening to the term e-governance 2.0 again and again that I coined the term e-governance 0.0 so that we go to absolute fundamentals of issues. And if you search on Google for Rajesh Agarwal e-governance 0.0, you will find that paper. And almost every consultant in the country who is working in the e-governance field, they have at least heard of this paper if they have not read it. In the education field last year, I got a good opportunity when after 2-3 leaks in exams in Mumbai University, our Honorable Governor set up a committee under my chairmanship with a lot of basically controller of exams of all universities in Maharashtra, 22 odd universities. They were members of this committee. And in about 3 months, we went end-to-end study on various aspects of exams. Exam or student assessment is a very small component of the whole academic life. Universities are meant for R&D work. They are meant for grooming the kids in multiple holistic ways where your subjects are part of the whole scheme. But anyway, both for result aspect as well as for basically joining the various employment opportunities, exam system remains very important. So I will just show you that book. So this book is available at the counter, so I will request all of you to pick up one copy. Reform of exam systems in universities in Maharashtra through use of technology. And for a quick read, you can go to page 95 and read over 49 recommendations we made. And luckily, Honorable Governor Sahab has taken 2 meetings since then of all the vice chancellors and asked them to implement this report in totality. Ravi, you want me to focus on this or general aspects of e-governance?
What it is, IT and exams?
Since I see basically people in the academia who are at higher positions in the universities and some solution providers also, I thought I will touch on this aspect. And in Maharashtra, our various universities are at various stages. For example, Symbiosis is doing a lot of online exams also. SNDT is doing a lot of online exams all across the country. Almost all are giving computerized basically hall tickets to the students. So students enroll on a website and basically print their own hall tickets with photo uploaded, signature uploaded and a barcode, and which at the examination center people can basically, the invigilators can cross check against a central database. That's very important. I will talk about it 3-4 times during my talk. Any paper can be very easily faked, very, very easily. Whether it's a hall sheet, whether it's photo on the hall sheet, whether it's your degree, whether it's a re-evaluation request, whether it's a detailed mark sheet, regardless of the security papers, regardless of the kind of paper you print it on, it can be very easily faked. There are notes worth thousands of crores, 1,000 rupee notes, 500 rupee notes, 100 rupee notes in this country, which are fake, and even the bankers can sometimes find it difficult to spot. And these notes, which are normally printed in security printing press at Nasik and other places, they have 10 or more security features inbuilt into them. So one very good alternative against this is actually going paperless, going dematerializing things. For example, now our share market, where number of shares and number of people dealing with it is much higher volume than the number of degrees we give or number of students in our universities. So entire countries, now share market is demat. Now entire UID process. In the country we have done more than 45 crores now. Within Maharashtra we have done 8 crore UIDs till now. We are based on your 12-digit random number plus a few parameters, which could be your name, PIN code, address, or which could be your fingerprint, which could be your iris. Basically, central server will tell you whether it's the right person or not. So then the person need not carry anything, you just carry your fingers along with you. So don't leave your hand at home, and you authenticate yourself from the central servers. So that is sort of ultimate scenario, that our degrees are demat, our authentication, identity authentication at various places, that is basically goes online. So that is what we should aim at ultimately. In Maharashtra, a lot of companies are giving solutions to basically universities to basically go produce hall tickets, and many of these solutions are basically transaction based. And in Maharashtra we have been encouraging two things. One is transaction based things, so that various departments, they don't have to set up their own hardware, they don't have to spend 2-3 years in developing software, testing it. They just latch on to existing solutions, and on per student basis or whatever, basically solutions are taken. And in most of these things, it is very easy to pass on this cost to the citizen. We have seen in the examination scenario, even if the cost is 200 rupees, 300 rupees, 400 rupees, it's very easy to pass it on to the students. Only for SC, ST students or below poverty line students, sometimes government subsidizes to some extent. At our citizen service centers, we have found absolutely no resistance to people paying 20 rupees facilitation charge to the cyber cafe owner or to the CSU owner for any kind of certificate. So going for transaction based solutions, that more and more universities in Maharashtra are opting for, and I am sure more and more states will find transaction based solutions attractive, where they can basically extract this cost from the students. And in fact, in universities like Mumbai and Pune, we have found that in manual systems, universities were taking more money from the students. For example, Mumbai University actually saves about 20 crores per annum from the exam fees. So without raising fees, in 70-80% cases, universities are able to switch over to quite end-to-end electronic systems. Now, a lot of hanky-panky happens also when question papers are made. So the way the question papers are made, 2 sets, 3 sets, 5 sets, the way they are randomly picked up by a committee or dean of the university or controller of exams, and the way question banks are designed. So There we have basically given a number of suggestions that what should be the size of the question bank. There are some Supreme Court judgments on equivalence of papers. Basically, you can give 2 or 3 or 4 different sets of questions to students even in the same examination hall, so that they cannot copy from one another. And Supreme Court has upheld it is okay as long as you are assuring that standard of hardness or laxity in question papers across is similar. You can't have one set very tough and one set very loose. So the way you design your question bank, the way you basically do their grading, so that computer picks up randomly questions of the same hardness. So that's important. Then during lunchtime I was talking to some people. So how do you securely deliver question papers? Do you print at central place, then make bundles, then basically secure those bundles with locks? What kind of locks or tapes you secure them with? How do you transport them through jeeps, cars, or public transport or whatever? And how do you store them at the examination centers for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, so that there is no leakage? So many universities, many colleges are now opting for basically sort of sending out CDs beforehand, sending out pen drives beforehand, or making a URL link available to all the colleges or examination centers, encrypting the question papers, and half an hour, 1 hour before the exam starts, basically sending out passwords and sending out the decryption key or the password, so that they can use that, decrypt the paper, and then print it using fast printers or Xerox machines. Now, one thing is, at the examination centers you have to ensure proper electricity, proper security, good set of basically blank papers to print. You should not run out of blank papers. In some centers the jokers actually run out of blank papers to print the exam on. And how you transmit the password. Now somebody was telling me passwords are sent over mobiles. Mobiles registered and you take a mobile number of the principal or whatever, and half an hour before you send across the password. Under IT Act, I am also the adjudicating officer in Maharashtra, and I am dealing with a large number of cyber crimes where net banking frauds are happening. And criminals basically go to franchisee of Vodafone or Tata Docomo or Airtel or BSNL. They pretend to be you. They take a duplicate SIM card very, very easily. So procuring a duplicate SIM card is extremely easy in this country. So can you rely on sending the password to a mobile? How do you ensure that it is really with the principal? Somebody has not basically got it deactivated and taken in a duplicate SIM card. So one has to be aware of those things. Sometimes we feel that just introducing new technology is basically more secure solution. Technology brings its own security angles also. So once the question paper is given out, then about the answer sheets. How do you ensure answer sheets basically don't get mixed up? Do you put barcodes or whatever kind of coding system? How do you ensure the mapping of the coding system with the roll number and then mask out the things? Many times the peons basically mix up masking, and intelligent people basically get lesser number marks, and those who have done paper very badly, they end up getting very good marks. So that is one thing. Then especially in objective type exams, or even in subjective type, the front cover page, more and more universities are opting for an OMR kind of solution, where students basically circle the bubbles, and basically OMR reader reads out your roll number, etc., and then masking, etc., becomes more easy and less error prone. So many universities are choosing OMR only on the cover part or for the entire objective type. If that is the thing, then evaluation becomes easier. You just feed those sheets into the machines and the result is out. Some universities are going for barcode in each page of answer books. Now, if you are basically allowing different questions to be answered on differently numbered pages, and especially in higher exams, let us say engineering exam, you have 4 questions where the evaluators, experts are different for evaluation. So you may actually like to break up the answer sheet into 4 parts, give out to 4 different experts. Then having barcodes on each page, that can help, and that can basically do the mapping. Some universities are playing with scanning the answer sheets, and then instead of transposing the answer sheets to the central assessment basically centers, we call them CAPS in Maharashtra. So scanned sheets are seen by the examiners on the evaluators on the desktops. They give out marks there only on the desktop. This has 2-3 benefits. One is you don't have to transpose bundles of answer sheets. Second, different questions can be checked by different experts. So otherwise, if my paper is checked by a very strict teacher, my colleague's paper is checked by a very lax teacher, it is not very fair. But if one teacher is checking question number 1 of all the students, another is checking question number 2 of all the students, basically then this can get evened out. And third is totaling mistakes and basically do not happen if at the time of evaluation the examiners are directly entering it into the computers. Then the results processing. Now we see more and more universities, even schools, publishing results on the website. That's very important and very basically kid-friendly system. Re-evaluation is a headache. So we have recommended online application of re-evaluation where fees can be paid by credit card, debit card sitting at home. And then re-evaluation can happen and students can see what is the result of re-evaluation sitting at home. Then very important aspect is dematting of degrees. Most of us would have seen the Munna Bhai MBBS kind of movie. Many of us are aware that fake degrees are in very wide circulation, extremely wide circulation, both for purpose of employment as well as basically admission in basically higher courses. So 10th class results could be fake to get admission to colleges, 12th class degrees could be fake, BTech or BSc degrees may be fake to get jobs and so on. So many people are talking of barcodes, QR codes, sprinkling some nanoparticles on this thing, embedding an RFID chip into the paper. While I personally feel that ultimate solution is dematting of the entire thing. Just doing away with the piece of paper. Wherever the kid goes, he says my roll number of 10th or 12th of BTech was this. And the employer or the next college, they just go to the central server, put that number in and get the basically marks of that boy or girl. That's the most secure solution. For example, when my daughter appeared for GRE, she did not get practically any paper. She would just tell her roll number to the universities and they would just pick up her results from the central server. So while Government of India has been talking of it, we have told our universities to basically go 10 years back to start with, demat all the degrees, digitize all the degrees, make the verification available through various means, SMS, website and all that stuff. And in future go only for demat kind of degrees. While if kids want physical degree in their hand with beautiful calligraphy and all, that's okay as a consolation, but ultimate authentication should happen from central servers. And if we can do it for 50 crore people already in last 2 years for UID of a much higher degree, then this is actually a piece of cake. It's not very difficult. Then our recommendations basically talk of lot of capacity building, physical security measures in the examination halls and where you store question papers. And we deliberately talk of decentralized solutions and transaction-based solutions. For first 3-4 years, next 3-4 years, we would like to see various companies coming in Maharashtra with their own ideas, with different solutions, with obviously different rates. Different universities will discover different market prices. And then market will mature in 3-4 years. Maybe initially we may see 20 solutions. After 3 years, they may mature into 4 solutions, which will basically bring in the competition also and bring in newer features also. Somebody may have 10 features, another may have another 10 features with 8 common and 2 different features, and so on. And we are also talking of QCBS analysis, that rather than going for L1 solutions, in many big projects we are actually doing that in Maharashtra. For example, Mumbai CCTV, Pune CCTV, and many big technological projects. We are giving a good weightage to technical solution also. We are not giving 100% solution to L1. So if someone brings in better technology, even L2 has a chance of getting the tender. So we are, in many projects we are giving 30% weightage to technical and 70% weightage to financial. And here also we have suggested that university acts may be amended, that you are not forced to give tenders to L1 only, that your RFP can be very detailed and say it very clearly, the winning formula. And one aspect I want to talk about is that in most of the e-governance projects, we talk only of technology. We don't do BPR, business process reengineering. Actually, one has to start with the BPR first. And most of the time, if you actually think about the process, the entire process, think from the citizen's point of view, that how his paper moves or how he is harassed, then in many cases the processes can be so simplified. In many cases they can be so totally eliminated that actually you don't need a technological solution. I will give you one example. Government of India is talking of e-transactions, electronic transactions. I am saying in forum after forum that E should stand not for electronic, E should stand for eliminated. That eliminated transaction is better than electronic transaction. I will give an example from education field only. In Maharashtra, 3-4 years ago, every year 3-4 lakh students pass 10th exam, try their luck in colleges. We call them junior colleges. So our schools are till 10th only in Maharashtra. So you needed a domicile certificate. So what is regular traditional way? The student has to go to Tehsil office, he is made to run around for 2-3 days, then some tout approaches him, you pay me 1000 rupees, I will get your work done. So that is the regular way. Next thing, our government said, government at your doorstep, Shasan tumche dari. So the guardian minister, the collector, they would hold camps in bigger colleges. Students will come, sit there for 3-4-5 hours and get the work done on the spot. So it eliminates middlemen to a large extent, but still student has to make a trip to the Tehsil office or to the district place. What is the next step of e-governance? Basically our citizen service center model, CSCs. We have now more than 1 lakh CSCs across the country, functional CSCs. So student can go to a privately run CSC nearby his village, give his documents there, get a computerized slip saying that come after 2 days, pay a facilitation charge, official facilitation charge of 10 rupees or 20 rupees, and after 2 days he will get a certificate. It is usually a physically signed certificate. In e-district project it can be a digitally signed certificate being transmitted over email or whatever. So this is the third way. What was the fourth way? Making the process online. So students don't even have to go to CSC. Sitting at their home, they can upload their papers. Back-end processing is online. They get a digitally signed paper. What is the final and the best way? Our Chief Minister said, why the heck students need domicile certificate at all? If somebody has done his 10th standard from Maharashtra, let's waive it off. If he's done 10th from outside Maharashtra, but now he's coming to Maharashtra for junior college, then obviously he will come with everything, including migration certificate and all. So we go to eliminated transaction. So in your exam system, please think of it. There are so many processes. Applying for the exam, applying for the entrance hall number, applying for re-evaluation, changing your subjects, choosing between offline and online. Now my son is to appear for JEE this year. Since today morning, actually since 12 o'clock in the night, the site is not really opening well. So we are trying our luck at that to fill up the form online, because the choice is between offline and online exam. So one has to make it simple. So please do a BPR of everything. In 70-80% cases you can simplify very drastically. And computerization, that is the message I wanted to give. Then we are talking of lot of basically academic or act or rule changes which are more important than technology. For example, there is a shortage of teachers. So to conduct exams, to evaluate exams, so one way is to reduce the number of exams. So we are saying that if for BSc or BA, etc., or even BTech, only final year can be done by university, other earlier years can be internal by colleges. Whether you give them some weightage or not, you can take that call. Then good colleges, Mumbai has some heritage colleges. They can have their own examination system. Why should the university have exams for all the colleges? So one can grade colleges ABC, etc., and colleges with grade A can basically be allowed to conduct their own exams and give their own degrees. So we are talking of it, and all the universities are working on it actually. Increasing exam centers and timely declaration of results. This is very, very important. Now, my daughter did BTech from a very prestigious college, not from IIT but one of the top 10. And in their college, the results are announced after 1 year. Semester results are coming after 1 year. I was in IIT 30 years ago. We would come back after the semester for 10-15 days. When we would go back, the results would be there on the notice board. And after 30 years with better technology, we see exam results being announced after 1 year. This is crazy. So in Maharashtra, the governor himself is monitoring that are the results out within 45 days or no. Otherwise, now vice chancellors are being asked questions. Why are the exam results not out in stipulated time? And we have recommended very strong penal action. That act should be changed, modified, that makes it binding on universities and colleges to announce results within time. So these are the sort of academic reforms. Last thing I want to talk about is the methods of teaching. We have been talking of virtual classrooms, putting video conference systems so that good teacher can basically talk to multiple teachers. So many private schools have come up with those solutions. But the content is proprietary, it's very expensive. And here I would recommend Kerala type of model, where they have gone for open source solutions and sort of open source content also, which they are putting on the net, which anybody can pick up, colleges can customize that, so they don't have to buy digital content, the course content, the quizzes, and all that stuff. So putting in hardware is very easy. Creating good content is very difficult. And most of you would have seen Khan Academy videos, now courses like Coursera. I have personally done 2-3 courses on Coursera in last 6 months from MIT professors and all. So listening to their video lectures, reading out the material, participating in quizzes. And one quiz actually we were evaluating across the world about 20,000 students in that course. each other's question papers and commenting on them. So these newer methods, our universities, our education system should also start experimenting. I will stop here. Maybe a few questions I will take because I should not consume all the time. If there are any questions, maybe now or afterwards. Okay. Thank you. I will stop here.
All the dignitaries on the days and the participants, I see the vice chancellors, the academic administrators who have come from the various parts of the country. Friends, I am happy that I meet Mr. Ravi, whom I had already known earlier, and I never knew that's you, because both these magazines, Digital Learning as well as e-governance, I do make it a point to see that the moment it comes on my table, at least have a glance on it, and I have been making use of your literature. Thank you for organizing this conference, and I'm very happy to be a part of this conference, though for a very short time, because I would not be able to be here with you for all the 3 days, though I much wished, and I had already confirmed, as my colleagues also had confirmed, but we are so much hard pressed for the time that it will not be possible for us to be here. Friends, I will very briefly tell you where we are and what we can in general. I'm just returning from a prestigious conference which was held in Delhi. I don't know whether any of you people were present over there. This conference was organized by CII in collaboration with the MHRD and several other small collaborators. It was held at Hotel Lilith in Delhi for 2 days. It was on 7th and 8th of November, wherein there was a whole galaxy of the luminaries in the field of the higher education, ranging right from Dr. Mantha of AICTE, then Y.S. Rajan, whatever names you come across, and then the organization was led by Forbes, the leader in the industry, Forbes Marshall, the leader of that organization. And basically various issues, because it was a 2 days full-time conference starting at 9:30 and closing almost at 8:30, 9:30. Various issues which are concerning the higher education sector in India were discussed over there. I come from a land which is, though we call it a state, I extend my warm welcome to all of you to this tiny state, which is a beautiful one, which has got wonderful nature, and I hope you will enjoy this for next 2 days. I come from a state, and though I call it a state, it's a very, very small state, which is equivalent to the size of a district of Maharashtra. Maybe the biggest district of Maharashtra may be bigger than our state. But this small state, over a period of last several years, has been doing wonderful progress in the field of education. The figures are available on the net. You can go through whether it is AISHE, the All India Survey of the Higher Education. The figures would be available there. If you go to the document on RUSA, these figures will be available there. We are the state which spends the highest per capita income on agriculture, higher education, highest per capita income. We are the state which is in the top 4 states of the country, which has the highest gross enrollment ratio, which is the state where the highest number of the females are taking education. This is the state where the highest number of the privileged, unprivileged, underprivileged sections of the society, specifically the ST population, which goes to the level of the higher education. Today we are around 30, maybe this figure might have increased by now, and we propose that in next 5 years we touch at least 40. That is our target, that our GR, gross enrollment ratio, should be at least 40, because the national average as at this moment is somewhere around 19. And then this meaning some 2-3 years back figures which are available at their disposal. And this is possible because Goa is doing many things, and I'm just sharing these things to you because I believe that many of you who come from the various parts of the country could see whether you can implement these things in the country where you, in the states where you go. We have in Goa, we have a scheme which is called as an interest-free loan scheme for higher education. I have been running this scheme ever since 2002. Scheme was started in 2002. Last 13 years this scheme is running, under which we are giving up to 3 lakhs for studies in India for a period of 5 years. And we are giving up to 8 lakhs per annum for a period of 2 years for the studies abroad. This is entirely an interest-free loan which is to be paid over a period of 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 2 years, 3 years, depending upon the quantum of loan. There are no interest. There is no interest on this loan unless somebody defaults. And let me tell you, today this loan, this is my scheme, and this scheme, my scheme in the sense, the scheme of my department, which was basically carved out by the present Chief Minister of Goa, Mr. Manohar Parrikar, when he was the Chief Minister in 2002. After this, and this scheme is being implemented over a period of time, we have modified it in a number of ways, suiting to the times. And I'll tell you, friends, when I look at the figures of the recovery, because the success of any loan scheme would depend upon the recovery, and I am very happy to inform that it is 97% recovery. 97%. The bankers are stunned at this. Maybe it's the Goan culture. Maybe that the people are feeling that any money that they take from the government should be returned back. We have another scheme which is called as Goa Scholars. We identify the cream of the students from Goa, and we give them up to $20,000 for studies abroad, and we give them up to 6 lakhs for the studies in India. This amount, this money is given to them one time and forgotten. My scheme says that you can be of use to the world. There are no strings attached to it. There is no need, it's not necessary that the person should come back to Goa, should start working, should give his expertise to Goa. If he gives it, it is fine, but it is not binding on him. Under this scheme, we have got the people who are working in various parts of the world and who are studying in various parts of the world and trying to bring that expertise. Many of them have returned back to Goa and are giving their expertise. We also give a special scheme wherein the moment the child gets an admission in IIT, IIM, BITS, Indian Institute of Science, etc., the moment they get the admission, their whole fees are taken care, hostel charges are taken care, there is a contingency book grant, etc., all totaling to around 1.8 lakhs per annum are given till they complete their course. We also have a scheme wherein, in order to promote the number of the students going for the social sciences, we have a special scheme, social sciences as well as pure sciences. We have a special scheme for giving benefits to the people. We give them 2,000 rupees per month for a period of 10 months in a year, stretched over to the period of 5 years till they complete their post-graduation. They are given 20,000 rupees plus a book grant of 10,000 rupees. This is the money which is given to them. Our purpose is that more and more people join pure sciences where there is a need. The whole of the nation needs the pure scientists. This is as far as the individual levels are concerned. As far as the infrastructure is concerned, building up the institutions is concerned, we have a grant cum loan scheme wherein up to 50 lakhs are given, 25 lakhs are grant, 25 lakhs are loan, interest free to be paid over a period of 50 years. And since 2 years, last year, we have launched another scheme wherein the government gives up to 1 crore of rupees at a interest of, just a nominal interest of 6% to be paid over a period of 10 years. If our GER is higher, there is another scheme which is in the offing, which we call as a bursary scheme, where Honorable CM desires that any parent whose income is 3 lakhs and below 3 lakhs, such students will be given fee exemption to the tune of up to 30,000. Only mining has created a bit of a problem on our revenue front, but otherwise, in spite of that, all these schemes are running. So we are on a higher parameters at the national level because of this. Friends, this conclave is meant to discuss many issues. I would only say that since RUSA is coming, why should I say coming? Since RUSA has already come, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan is already come. 30th was the last date. Are there any principals here? Are there any directors from any of the states here? No directors are there, no principals. Any vice chancellors? Yeah, fine. 3, 4, your universities might have sent, you might have sent. A greater role today lies with all of us in view of RUSA, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, which is going to be a unique scheme of the Government of India, which I would call is on the higher education front, it will be one of the I would say, the master scheme, where the Government of India is going to take care of many things, including the vacant positions in the universities. What we have to do is that we have to prepare our own perspective plans, break those into small targets, have the targets for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. All these things we are supposed to be submitting very shortly. I think another 15 days to a month's time we must be in a position to send the perspective plan. We can always change it at a later stage. We need to prepare our institutional plans also. Individually each of the colleges is supposed to prepare. Our intent should have gone to the Government of India latest by 30th of October. I am sure even if those reach late, the MHRD is still open to accept it. Because my government, we submitted somewhere around 4th or 5th of November, and that has been accepted. I'm just trying to tell you these things because hereafter it appears that the funding that was coming to us through the UGC, University Grants Commission, it appears that funding, that process may stop and the entire funding will be routed through RUSA, and RUSA would be routed only through the state councils of higher education. The state governments would be required to constitute higher education councils, state councils of higher education. Elaborate things of this are available in the RUSA document. The RUSA document is available on the MHRD website. If anybody has not seen it, please do go and see it. While we look into all these things, we need to look into the concern of Government of India. The concern of Government of India is the quality. With quality, there is also the need for, equity, access and all those things, but underlying this is the quality. And this quality need to be enforced if in the entire world list of the universities, if only Punjab University can figure in. And if there are not even in our IITs which have figured in those top lists. It is the issue of a concern. It is the issue of a concern. So the Government of India is also concerned about the quality. We need to look into it, and therefore comes the question of accreditations, National Assessment Accreditation Councils, private accreditation agencies which are likely to come. Those things are. Because friends, we also need to remember that the government has also opened the gates for the foreign players in the market. We need not have to worry because even after the foreign direct equity participation was allowed, there was a fear that they will come, they will gulp us. It has become other way that some giant from India goes in England and buys the biggest iron and steel company from England, or somebody in the electronics goes and buys some other company in Japan or in Korea and so on and so forth. So we need not have to worry, but if we are to compete, a stage may come wherein if it is the survival of the fittest, in that stage we need to be fit, we need to be strong, and we can be fit and strong only if we have the quality higher education in our institutions of the higher education, where the greater role also would be played by the role of ICT. And here I am talking of the national mission on ICT. The lot of facilities which have been made available by Government of India, I would request all of you to take maximum advantage of these benefits, because wherever we are falling short, the state governments don't have a lot of money. I do understand. I am amazed to see the amount of the money which is spent by the government of Tamil Nadu. It is running in hundreds of crores, 1,000 crores and like that. My state is spending just around 150, 160 crores per year as a district, because we are to the size of a district. But when I see Tamil Nadu's picture, when I see Kerala picture, when I see the picture of the several other states in the country, I am really amazed to see that there are good efforts which are being made. And although Chandigarh again is one of the states, Punjab Technical University's progress is worth noting, which I really want to study it. I have not gone through it. But when I look at all these things, I am just requesting all of you, because you are all knowledgeable people, you are the leaders in the industry, and you are the leaders in the field of education. Nowadays there is a practice of calling education also industry, and the degrees and the curriculum that we run, people are talking in terms of products. I am just trying to request you to see to it that whatever benefits that you get that are available to you, please harness those, because that is the only way in which the road to success can go. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here today.
Thank you, sir, for your address. I would now like to invite Professor P. Rameshan, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak, to give the special address.
Ravi Gupta, the dignitaries present here on the dais, esteemed participants, sponsors, technology and other partners, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great privilege to be here to give this speech on the occasion of this higher educational event. I take this opportunity first to appreciate ELET's digital learning, Mr. Gupta, and the sponsors in organizing such an event. The emphasis on education, particularly higher education, is on the rise in the last few years, and in India in the last few years several such events have been organized at the behest of various agencies including the government, and there have been digital learning. ELETS has been pioneering a lot of activities in the field of higher learning, higher education in the last few years, and I think we all need to commend their efforts. Today, let me focus on the quality of higher education through providing a few slides, view of a few slides here. I know there is a shortage of time, therefore I will be trying to be brief, just reading out the slides, and in case any discussion is there required, later on we could do. Maybe a couple of my slides could make some of you or most of you a little upset or provoked. I can see a few from abroad, possibly they are from USA, and there is a chance that they will be unhappy with me. Oh, okay, so saved. All of us are in education for some purpose. In any activity, business in particular, profits could be one motive. There is no other justification required if it's for profits. If it's for non-profits, the return is social happiness of social service. But I think to do something very, very noble for the country in the field of higher education, we need to go beyond this. That is the happiness in profits or happiness in social service, and we need to pitch on at a higher level on patriotism itself. The country had a very good past, commencing from 2000 years ago with our great Nalanda University, and we have a good future with a lot of demographic dividend and IT and intellect. Therefore, we need to move our higher education in tune with where the country is headed in future, for which we need to contribute heavily without consideration of our own benefits. Of course, we will have the benefits of social service or profits. Look at this. We know today USA is the most influential country in the world. Some people will say it's because of economics. Some may say it's because of the weapons and the defense products they make. But I would say the most influential factor or influencing factor is the education. In fact, everybody in the world thinks for USA because everybody is influenced. If today in management education we need to teach some concept, we need Harvard case. In technology, we need a US paper. And most of the inventions, discoveries are in the names of the US scientists and companies. There is a widespread influence of the USA intellectually on the world. So we are very happy to think like a US policymaker or a US citizen. So much is the influence on all of us. And I believe the best way for India to lead the world is using the same intellect and knowledge. So if we can produce that kind of a knowledge and disseminate in the world over a period of time, over the couple of decades to come, and I am sure in another 20-30 years, India is going to be in the position in which USA is, without the violence of US weapons, without the muscle power that USA shows on the world. So that should be one of our great dreams. When we talk about the quality image of education, there are two aspects coming. That is the skills of learners. Mainly the quality image is judged in terms of the skills of the learners in the job or outside. And the second is the perception of the users. Actually the skills of the learners would be coming in their work. But their work, whether it is good or bad, is judged by those who are evaluating them. Therefore, without the perception of users, we cannot evaluate the quality of education. Both sides are required. But today education is, particularly higher education, is influenced by various factors. Number one, market forces. Number two, the technological forces. Number three, the aspirational forces. So much is happening in the world, so much wealth is created, everybody wants to have a share of it. So that is one aspiration. Second is to be part of the growth story everywhere. And market forces, as you are aware, are playing a role, and technological factors. This is where I will make the technology people sitting here a little unhappy. Most often we will ask, where is the change happening? Where is the change originating? And you will find it is the technology companies which are the source of change in higher education as well as in the educational field in other categories. Often there is a bandwagon effect. Somebody wants to be a little higher than the others. For instance, there is a lot of competition among educational institutions. So each institution wants to have an upper hand over the other in the competition so that they get a better accreditation and so on. So they want to adopt a new technology or a new product, and then everybody wants to adopt. Then the company comes back and says that, you see, I have another version which is a more refined version. So why don't you accept? So somebody accepts, everybody accepts. Like that it goes on. In the last few years, if you look at it, many of the transformation changes have happened because of the technology companies rather than because of real philosophers and thinkers in higher education. Of course, aspirations were there, that is one aspect. Competition was there. And you will find the quality sources we need to cover a lot of components. Number one, faculty, which is a factor discussed very much. The materials. So long as Harvard is there, management schools are happy. But beyond that, we have very little of our own materials with quality. Methods, what teaching methods are used, there may be a debate on that. The learning environment is very important. People say in IIT, IIMs and some of the other major institutions including private, there is a better learning environment, and also the student competence. Of course, IITs and IIMs and some of the major institutions are lucky to get the top quality students, but not every institution is lucky. So it is extremely difficult for those institutions which are not getting high talent students to produce high talent employees. So there is a problem there. And many top students get into IITs, IIMs, pass out, go ahead and succeed. But many who don't get into IITs, IIMs, go abroad, study, come back and succeed. So success, IIT, IIM, not the only way. But the difference is that when they go to USA and UK, you can be happy now, they get a high quality education and they are able to compete in spite of probably their slightly lower intellect than those who get into IITs and IIMs. So, but there is a problem. How to give quality? Even for IIMs and IITs, this is a problem. There is a faculty crunch. And there is a dollar barrier to faculty inflow. For instance, there are so many Indians abroad who may like to come back, at least in their older age, so that they can have a settled life here with comfort. But the problem is that every time they want to come back, they convert dollars into rupees or rupees into dollars back. when they convert their dollars into Indian rupees, it's a huge amount. But when they convert Indian salaries back into their dollars, they find there is a small number. And this is one of the things that is preventing many Indians from coming back, because they think that it is too small. But the fact is that when we compare Indian and American salaries, we need to straight away apply a 3.5 to 4 factor, which is the PPP factor. Straight away American salaries can be divided by 3.5 to get the Indian equivalent, but many people don't think about it, or conveniently they ignore that point. That is why many Indians are not coming back. We are also trying to get people back. So supporting factors of quality are skill orientation, industry linkage, performance focus, and academic discipline. I am sure each and every organization, educational institution is really spending a lot of time in figuring out how to deal with this, including discipline. Today, discipline is one of the factors that is affecting the quality of education in many of the institutions, particularly universities and places where there is a little bit of looseness in the system. And the other factor is cost. The Indians are very cost conscious. Those who are not cost conscious will be going abroad to get their education. Except in IIMs and some top major institutions, other places they are very cost conscious. That is why many of them join the Indian government public institutions. But with such a cost, whether the institutions would be able to provide quality education or not is one of the most important factors. Many universities, this kind of debate is happening whether they should increase the fee or not. But the traditional wisdom is that they should not, because they are public organizations. But with that kind of a fee, they are not able to find the resources for supporting R&D activity and also their own internal knowledge creation. I think I should conclude within 1 or 2 minutes, but let me show you this slide. That is, commercialization is nicknamed not-for-profit in the recent years, and new products and greater non-profits are being generated there, and a strong educational industry is developing in India. New products and greater profits in the name of non-profits. Technology players, as I told, is doing the same thing. They are selling their products and then coming back and saying that this is a new product. I think I should, because a few more slides are there, but I am sure we can discuss it later also. I am also part of the coming session. I conclude this to enable the organizers to conclude the inaugural session. I am happy to discuss with you any of the points. If I have put some controversial point, that can also be discussed why I felt so. I once again thank the organizers for organizing this event and giving me an opportunity to express my views. Thanks a lot.
Questions? We would pass on the mics if anybody would like to ask the questions to the people on the dais.
This question is for the Secretary Higher Education, Goa. Now, UGC was established with the idea that there should be an autonomous institution for funding autonomous universities. Will RUSA not really contravene the objectives of UGC? Because RUSA will be a government organization, and will it not then impact the autonomy of the universities, which have already been impacted quite a bit over the years?
Hello. This is a question which is, though at an all India level, since you have raised it, I am just saying, RUSA, if you go through the document, you would realize that that would basically be a channel or basically be a vehicle through which the resources from the government of India would be transferred to the various state institutions, state governments, etc., state universities and so on. There is no question of UGC's role as a regulatory authority. UGC's role as a regulatory authority will continue. Maybe UGC initially had that basic objective of being a regulatory authority. That role will continue to be there. RUSA is only for this, and State Councils of Higher Education. Because there is another issue, as you have raised it, and there was a lot of debate in throughout the country. The issue is regarding the establishment of National Council of Higher Education and Research, and that bill is still not passed by the Government of India. That bill has not been passed by the Parliament so far. If that bill is passed, then comes the issue that has been raised by you, because the National Council of Higher Education and Research, if that bill is passed, All India Council of Technical Education, UGC, then the Medical Council of India, Dental Council of India, law, and all those disciplines. There have been queries and questions raised and challenges which have been generated by the various authorities across the country. And I think because of that, the National Council of Higher Education and Research has been kept on a low profile at this stage. So UGC will, as at this moment it appears, will continue, but it will continue to have its regulatory role and not the fund giving. The fund giving part will be done through the State Councils of Higher Education and through the other one.
Yes, my comment is again in line with RUSA, what the discussion is going on, but I think so far this funding that was by UGC, and the major change will be that the funding will be through the state governments. That's the major shift in the funding that is coming up. But challenges are very great so far as this over the state governments are concerned. What I see that, okay, funding is one thing, accreditation is very important. So far as NAAC has been able to accredit only 19% of the institution all over the country. So how about this accreditation councils and the bodies which are to be formed by the state to maintain the quality is a big challenge. And then what will the parameter through which this accreditation will be done? Again, big challenge is, of course, RUSA is there. When you look at the document of RUSA, it's very impressive. Of course, a lot of intervention that has been taken to care of. But again, my learned colleague has just mentioned that there is a faculty crunch. Where from these motivated teachers, they have to come to the institution. That is a big challenge so far as higher education is concerned, what I say. He has talked about that we are not being able to take our scientists who have gone abroad. But look at the funding of the pay scales of the teachers. Most of the vice chancellor and the teachers, they will bear with me that now the teachers, what they are getting, that is a big, a good amount amongst the BRICS country. Even see these grades are better in India. But what are the teachers? How about the teaching, pedagogy, and all these concerned, and innovation that is lacking? So these are the major challenges against for the government to be taken up. The National Council is one thing, but state have to also constitute these councils which have to take these care of these higher education in the country. When this so far as it was there that okay, funding is coming from the UGC, states were having no role. They were saying that okay, funding from UGC, they will be monitoring this. But now whole of this higher education and responsibility that will lie on the state governments, and UGC role, of course, it will be diminished. But the role of UGC will not be totally gone. It will be, of course, overlooking body so far as the quality is concerned. But implementation part, state governments has to do a lot. S.S. Chahal, Vice Chancellor, DB University, Punjab.
Okay, thank you. I am Professor K.P. Mishra, Vice Chancellor, Nehru Gram Bharati University, Allahabad. A point of RUSA, and probably the Director of Education has mentioned so much that we feel elated about it. There is a question. This is the funding that is going to be distributed to only state and central universities. 64% of the education today in the country is being imparted by private sector. Unless you include in funding private sector, you are just going to re-strengthen what has been already strong. That is one point that I want to make. The second important thing is that the concept of university had changed now in the modern time. A university is not a university if it doesn't have research. Therefore, merely spending in the infrastructure or giving the salary is not going to improve higher education. It is not going to improve rating of our universities. Our universities will be rated, as you have seen in FICCI yesterday, they mentioned, 60% of the evaluation is on research and research citation. And this we are poorly doing. And we will continue doing poorly with the policy that we have. So therefore, RUSA is not going to become a panacea for the higher education lifting up. That's one point that I want to make. The other point that I want to make is to Mr. Rameshan. Dr. Saab, please remember this point that best of the student in the best of the universities are not the best of the performers. In fact, the talent lies elsewhere. I think the role of the institutes is more to pick up average student and make them the best student. I would imagine that thinking that the best of the students, if they come and then we give best of the talent output, is not a very right approach in education. Education is take average material and make it best. Therefore, IIM, IITs have not excelled to the extent we had expected them to excel. And in fact, they have let us down. So therefore, my suggestion is to those institutions, and particularly those of you who are at the director level, try to spot, polish, and make them a product which becomes competitive in the global world. That should be the approach. The regret, I come from a rural university, and right now I have seen both the world. I was at Bhabha Atomic Research Center, where I have seen best of the students, best of the talents. And now I'm in a rural university, vice chancellor, which is getting very average and less than average quality student. And this question comes again and again in my council and to my discussion, that very average students are coming, so best cannot be done by us. It's not true. It's not true, because talent is hidden there.
Actually, sorry.
And if we focus on that the best of the students come to the institute, then I will give you best of the result, would be a wrong perception. It's just my humble comment.
In fact, my slide was supporting you. I said those who don't get into IITs and IIM go abroad, maybe of slightly lesser talent, but because the quality of education abroad is very good, they come back with the equal success potential and they succeed here. That shows, my third point was, therefore, the quality of education can supplement the slightly lower intellect to a great extent if we have provisions for quality education. But in India, below some of the top institutions including IIT, IIM, that's not there. Therefore, it's high time we need to focus on that aspect. Even the average students can be brought to a level through quality education. That was the underlying message.
Thank you very much. Mr. Nayak, I have a point to make. When you say that you have the best of the GDP spent in education, and higher percentage, I should say, and then you say that you have best of the female percentage coming in the education and best of the students coming in Goa, and you are fourth ranking in the whole state of 29 states, and you are a small state equivalent to some of the districts of Uttar Pradesh or Maharashtra. What do you think has been a driving factor to get to that position? Is it smallness that gives excellence? Is it smallness that becomes more manageable? What is your thinking? Why are the people of Goa have suddenly become more smart, more intelligent? What is it you think?
I don't say, let me, right at the outset, let me tell you that I'm not saying that the people of Goa are smarter than the people of the rest of the country. We may not be. Let me make it clear. I was only trying to say some of the initiatives that the government of Goa has taken up, and these initiatives are on record, and I feel because of these initiatives our GER also is rising. If I tell you some of the factors, if you look at the females, our female population taking education, our general degree colleges are 70% of the students are lady students and 30% of the boys, and 49% of the technical education is the recipients are the females. Now, when I'm talking of these initiatives on the part of Goa, it's not that overnight we have become smart or anything of that sort. The type of the ethos, the type of the culture, the type of system to which we were exposed. See, the country became independent in 1947. We got liberation only in 1961. We were under the Portuguese dominance for a very long time. A little bit of the westernization, a little bit of the language influence, therefore English medium, whatever it is. There are a variety of the factors which have contributed to the type of a situation in which we are. I don't claim that our students are the best or no. The problems which you in the rural areas face. See, let me also explain. I am the principal of a rural college. I am the principal of a rural college as well as the director of higher education. These two coats I am wearing. And as a principal of the rural college, I 100% agree with you. 300, 400 of my students are belonging to ST, but some one of them becomes a JRF. Some one of them passes a NET exam, some one of them takes up a good job somewhere. It is a matter of a pride. So I fully agree even with what you had said. My point in explaining these things to you was only to expose you to the type of the experiments that are going on in Goa. I don't say that these are the best ones. And that's why I said it was amazing when I found the state of Tamil Nadu is doing so wonderful, great. So much achievements I had credit. Kerala had, Chandigarh had, they are much above us in that sense. We are a small state. For us, therefore, manageability is easier. We are a small state, therefore, there are interpersonal relations. I'll give you an example. 40, 60 of my college principals can come together. Dr. R.V. Gaonkar, the principal of the one of the top A-class colleges. If any of you would like to anytime get an opportunity, please visit his college. A college which will compete with any best college in India. Any best college in India in terms of infrastructure, in terms of performance, in terms of the research. And in terms of research to tell you, I will tell you, for example, my college is a rural college, but my college people have done about 15, 16 UGC minor research, 2-3 major research projects. I mean, all these activities simultaneously going on, all these things are possible for us because of a sort of a informality that exists. It's not that we are somebody great. I just said it because I thought that I could share with you so that this message also goes. For example, I can tell you the Goa Scholar Scheme is unique. It is not available anywhere in the country. I can tell you the interest-free loan scheme is unique. It is not available anywhere in the country. Anywhere, even at the Government of India level. I can bet on it. Our scheme for promoting science education is unique. There are so many such things. That's it. Thank you.
We would now request all dignitaries present on stage to please inaugurate the Digital Learning Magazine. So we'll have the last question. After that, we'll start with the next session.
I have a question to, rather a query to Professor Ramesh.
Could we please have your name and where you're from?
Yeah, I'm Kiran from Globe Arena. I have a query or question to Dr. Rameshwar garu. Sir, you said people going abroad, they enhance their talent, or due to the quality education, they enhance their talent. I have a second side of the coin. Maybe, or in my view, it happens that in India, in our country, talented people not being recognized, they are being recognized abroad. This is the second way that I feel. What is your view on that?
Whether I need to have a view on this, because the entire group here will be able to give you a response on that. Maybe it can be responded at length, but because of their time constraint only, I am just restricting itself. I think we need to allow them to conclude. Okay.
The The major reason, the question that you have raised is because we have been slave for too long. Therefore, our attitudes are taking time to change. Nothing to worry about it. Those of us who have remained in India and have been in positions, there have been setbacks, there have been disappointments, but still the way country has done is not so bad. And our attitude to recognize those who have gone to other part of the world is not very right attitude. And yesterday, Dr. Nag just now said in FICCI, I did make this point, that to glorify those who have gone to other part of the world is not very right approach. Had we gone, perhaps those of us who are here, we would have done equally well or even better. So it's a question of what kind of decisions you are making and what kind of roles you have decided to play. To go in best of the country with best of the efforts, an average man also shines. So it's not that we should look that rosy situation, those who have been abroad, they come. It's not so. And we should not get allured with that. Perhaps this will be a wrong approach, and it's a more colonial approach. That's how we have been living.
We don't have to be complacent about any situation. We have to recognize the contribution US and UK and some of the other Western countries have given to the world of knowledge. We need to understand that. We need not feel complacent about anything. But on the other hand, we also need to remember that by virtue of their higher per capita incomes, etc., GDP per capita incomes, etc., they had plenty of resources which they could use for enhancement of learning and quality. But in our case, being a poorer country, we could not spend so much of resources on R&D and other facility. That is one reason why they were not able to shine here. They had talent, but the moment they got the complementary resources, including the laboratory, the educational quality, the other facilities, they could really come up. Why don't we understand that? Why don't we recognize that? But on the other hand, those who are talented, those who wanted to stay back, I don't think anybody denied them the persistence is required. Persistence is required. I always cite my own example on this. I have come from a very poor background. Poor background financially and socially from a rural area, economically from a rural area, socially from a very backward community, and also financially we were very poor because my parents died in a very early age. And after that, I was like an orphan, myself and my brother. But I can tell you, persistence and hard work, I did, and nobody could stop me, nobody could deny anything to me. And I have no recommendation from anywhere to reach anywhere. But still, at no point of time I have missed any of the milestones that I have achieved so far. I know at least half a dozen such people in front of my eyes. I have seen their progress. And I have also shared the dais with some of them when they explained what is the hardship they came through. I don't think that if we are really persistent, anybody is going to deny us our opportunity. Maybe for a brief time, not in the long run. So we need to have confidence in ourselves. We need to be optimistic. That is the most important thing, along with hard work. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, the session is about to close, but just one point which has emerged to my mind, I think it should go waste. Now, very important point has been raised, that is, so far as rural colleges are concerned, inclusiveness, that is very important in higher education. When we talk of this GERs, all these things, Chandigarh, Bangalore, all big cities. But look at this GR, when we say that 74%, it's 13% in rural area and 24% in urban areas. Then we come to average of 18.88. So this is one again point that rural population that should be more picked up so far as GR entry into higher education is concerned.
We would now have the dignitaries on the stage. Please inaugurate the Digital Learning Magazine. It's a special issue which we have for the knowledge exchange. Thank you, sir. I would now request Ms. Rosal Laha to please deliver the vote of thanks.
A very good evening to everyone. Shri Rajesh Agarwal ji, Secretary IT Government of Maharashtra. Shri Bhaskar ji Naik, Director Higher Education Government of Goa. Dr. Ravi Gupta, CEO Elect Technomedia Private Limited. Professor Rabeshan, Director IIM Rohtak. I would like to thank all of you on the dais for joining us, and the inaugural itself was so interactive that we can expect for a very interactive and, pleasant sessions in the coming 2 days. And I would like to thank all our sponsors. First of all, co-organizers, MHRD, government partner Nixie, knowledge partner Globalina, Adobe associate sponsors, Adobe Cyber 4 Technologies, Dragonfly, Microsoft, TRS Forms and Services, and our online education partner WizIQ for their support to the event. I would also like to thank all the honorable vice chancellors, the directors from different institutes, and associate professors from different institutes who have joined us from different parts of the country. And as I'm talking to you, I'm already getting calls from different vice chancellors who are on their way to this venue, and I'm very glad to welcome all of you to this event, and we look forward to very interactive sessions in the coming days. Thank you so much.
I would now request Dr. Ravi Gupta to please give the dignitaries, as a vote of thanks, a certificate of appreciation. Shri Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary IT Government of Maharashtra. Shri Bhaskar ji Naik, Director Higher Education Government of Goa. Professor P. Rameshan, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Rohtak. Thank you so much, sir, for having been present with us for the inaugural session. We would, in a few minutes, be starting with our next session on skill development initiative to boost employability.